Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host, Khalid Moeedin. This is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. I want to kick off the show by saying thank you so much to everybody out there that has supported us for this month's issue of the magazine. We really worked hard on this particular issue because we wanted to do something that's really special. Ever since I walked into this industry, I always wanted to have an impact or have some sort of influence on the way women's cricket is broadcasted in this country, spoken about in this country, and supported in this country. I always thought that there was so much talent in South African cricket. Women are always sacrificing and giving everything that they can to this game, but they've always been almost on the back foot when they were trying to achieve their dreams. First and foremost, provincial cricketers don't get paid. That's one thing. They don't get an income. They have to do their daily jobs or they have to study while they are trying to live out their dreams of becoming a cricketer, a professional cricketer. Only once they get to the Proteas, there's a certain amount of contracted players that get contracted in a very small squad that gets contracted. And if they're lucky enough to be able to make a name for themselves, they'll obviously get a major contract overseas when they can go play in the Big Bash League, where majority of them will make some money, or maybe in England as well, where they can make some money too. But other than that, in South Africa, there hasn't been an option for women to make a name for themselves. So I thought, now that I'm on my own and there's no restrictions and I have this team that we put together and we have Cricket Fanatics Magazine in this community, it's the perfect time for me to actually take a charge of that and have the freedom to be able to express all our thoughts on women's cricket in South Africa. So for this month, I've decided to do a completely full women's edition of the magazine. All the stories that you find are on women's cricket and the women's game in South Africa. Now, I chose Tanisha Devnarain to be on the front cover because I feel that she holds the key to the next generation of talent and the future of women's cricket. And we spoke to her, and Emily spoke to her and did an amazing interview and an amazing article about her journey and how it shaped her as a person and how she's going to take that forward into her career. We also spoke about Marazan Cup. We had an exclusive interview with Marazan Cup, where she gave some insights into how we can learn from Australia. And we also had Aditya write an amazing article on what we can learn from India. And I'm going to bring Aditya a little bit later on in the show because I want him to discuss his article and his findings and what he's learned from this particular issue. And then we'll move on into the T20 review for tomorrow. So hold your horses, guys. It's not like I'm not going to talk about the T20 game and I'm not going to review that. We are going to be talking about that. Before we get going, before I introduce Aditya to the show, please subscribe to this channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. Don't forget to also get involved in the super chat. If you want to ask any questions about anything, just go and click on this the subscription. There's a subscription button, obviously. The dollar sign in the bottom right-hand corner of the live chat, where you can obviously get involved with the super chat. I'll put the reminder on the screen now. Without further ado, let me introduce you to Aditya. I want to introduce you, welcome him onto the show. Welcome to the show, Aditya. Sorry for the long intro. I just needed to get that out of the way and explain that why we did this particular issue, why we went with this particular theme. So time for us to give promotion to women's cricket, especially the way South Africa performed against Pakistan in South Africa, as well in Durban. I think this was an awesome time for me to bring out this edition and really give women in this country also hope, and media people in this country hope, because I think all women in this, when it comes to professions that are generally considered as men's professions or a man's certain thing, they've always been on the back foot and trying to, where it shouldn't be the case. They should be allowed to be on equal footing, I feel, as men, and get that recognition as well. From this magazine, from the article that you wrote, what have you learned about it?
First off, generally, I think cricket is terrible at marketing itself. The authorities have done a pretty poor job at marketing the men's game and the women's game. So I felt like, before getting into the technicalities of the sport, and we discussed domestic structure and what facilities are available, it's important to have a conversation about how much cricket is available to the public for consumption. And if we look at the numbers, from like 2017 onwards, there's been dramatic growth. And as I wrote in my article, about 75 million Indians uh, watched the 2020 World Cup. Those are staggering numbers. No one would have anticipated that 75 million people watch watch this World Cup. It was totally unexpected. But when you really get into the details of it, you can see why people were interested in it, and the fact that, having heard so much about a number of the cricketers, where we have our host broadcaster Star do a lot of marketing now of Indian women cricketers. It was interesting to see that people actually had the avenues to be able to watch this stuff. And
Yeah.
I've worked in rural India for a year. And there are
Wow.
houses don't have televisions, but people have smartphones, and through subscriptions that are available at a pretty reasonable rate to them, you can see people just glued into their phones watching cricket. And that to me was so encouraging, and I feel like that's something that, uh, in the next couple of years, perhaps South Africa can exploit. That to me is how you get people interested in cricket. And um, I felt like that should be the focus of my article, because
Of
we
course.
can have endless conversations uh, about technique and structure and performances, but we first need to have a conversation about how to get cricket to the people.
That's true. And there's a lot of articles in this particular magazine that we talk about. I just want to send out a quick Instagram live for everybody to know that we are live, um, so that they can all join the show as well, because I don't want them to also miss it. Um, and yeah, there's also an article written by Chris where he dives into Cleta Blanche's story, because I mean she was there from right from the beginning, when at the time when women's cricket was not seen as relevant and all of that. And it was right at the beginning when we're trying to get recognition for the women's team. She was there from right at the beginning. She tells an amazing story through that as well. We also talk about the WSL, etc. And Lubabalo also writing an amazing article as well. And we also have Gabby Lee van der Westhuizen, which the twins made their debut in writing a Q&A, the first off the field. They wrote one recently on Gabby Lee van der Westhuizen, giving some excellent insights as well. But if you guys want to get hold of that magazine, please support it and please download it. I'm going to put the links already in the description for you to become a subscriber. But you can remember the link over here on the screen for you to be able to do so as well. Don't forget to also like, comment, share, subscribe, and do all of those things right now. So let's get into the crux of this conversation. I want you guys to get involved with the super chat so that you can get your questions answered, because we're going to get into a big conversation, myself and Aditya. First, let's start off with the squad and who is selected in this particular squad, who will be a part of the squad. So we've got the squad on the screen for you right now. And we have some talented players over here. It's good to know that Heinrich Klaassen, in his opening statement or his opening press conference, said that this is not a makeshift T20 side. He doesn't see the side as a makeshift T20 side. He sees them as a strong side and that they can compete against Pakistan. Now, I agree with him to an extent, because I feel that a lot of these players are on the brink of making the T20 side, apart from the guys that are obviously the senior players. Majority of them are here. I think only bar from Quinton de Kock, Rassie van der Dussen, and Faf du Plessis. Other than that, the rest of them are basically here already, that are part of the test squad that are not going to play. Kaiji Rabara obviously not involved here, and Lungi Ngidi not involved here either. So who are very good T20 players as well. But I think we have enough in this arsenal to really put on a proper fight against Pakistan. For me, like I said in in the headline of this particular show and what's on the thumbnail as well is that I feel that youngsters and the newbies need to be given an opportunity over here. I think that guys like Jacques Snyman, I think guys like Bjorn Fortuyn, Janeman Milans, Ryan Rickelton even. I think those guys need to get opportunities over here. Clinton Steerman as well. I want to see the newbies get an opportunity and show what they have available to them. Because if you're building for the World Cup, you want to see if there's maybe some players that they may be left out, maybe some players that they haven't looked at. Maybe they have some extra X factor to fill those gaps in the side that we are missing. But there was also a press conference today with David Miller. From your perspective, what is your thoughts on the squad first and foremost? And then you can get into what David Miller had to say and what Heinrich Klaassen had to say, because I know that you covered both of those particular press conferences.
First of all, both are extremely confident of the Proteas' chances against Pakistan, and both were quite determined in their session that they're there to win. This is not a 3-month series where you have an inexperienced squad and you feel like you're just there to perform your duties and move out. They're there to win, and I was very glad to see that. And strong statements from Heinrich Klaassen. He said, by no means are we a second string squad, and I think that was the way he began his press conference. So that was fantastic. Apart from that, I actually don't think there is inexperience in the squad, from an international perspective. But if you're talking about talent and ability to win games of T20 cricket, that is absolutely possible. There is no reason why this team cannot win at least 2 of the 3 games. There is no reason. Perhaps the challenge can be in the condition, in the assessment of the conditions, and what the management makes of that. I think that could be a challenge. But overall, I think Pakistan is going to make a very good, and Lahore is known generally for a pretty solid batting surface. So there are plenty of runs to be made in Lahore, and I do hope that Snyman's in that squad along with Janeman Milan to open the innings, and probably Reza at 3, Heinrich at 4, David at 5. That would be pretty solid top 5 there, and there's no reason that they can't win.
Yeah, and also we mustn't forget that it's also the fact that these guys are trying to make a statement over here. The guys are trying to obviously showcase what their ability is, and they want to show that they have what it takes to make that T20 World Cup side. I think everybody over here is desperate to do so. We've got another caller waiting for us. I'm so happy that he made it. Mr. Mpo Mareki, my guy. How are you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. Sorry, Eskom had me. I do apologize. I'm fighting Eskom here.
Level 3, I believe. Level 3 load shedding or something like that.
Yes, yeah, it came on us, but at least it's back.
I mean, we had it early on in the day as well. Luckily, I wasn't doing anything much at that particular time. We were launching, and luckily our Wi-Fi still works when the load shedding is off. So luckily to have that.
In darkness. I would have been in darkness. So
yeah, exactly. The last time, I don't know if you guys remember the last time we were struggling with the lights. I forgot to charge my the flashlight basically, and I was basically in complete darkness almost for the entire show, but you guys stuck through with me, and that's why we love you guys. So please continue with the love, with the likes, and smashing the comment section, etc. We're talking about the squad at the moment. We're talking about David Miller. We're talking about Heinrich Klaassen, what they had to say in the press conference. I just wanted Aditya to finish off. Did they speak about the conditions at all? Did they get to see the pitch enough to be able to make a call on what they thought about the pitch or the wicket?
So Klaassen said that they had a basic idea, because they had a little bit of I think they had an inter-squad game, I think, and based on that they found that it wasn't turning much and it looked like a pretty decent wicket for batting. So perhaps the think tank might be thinking of employing their pace bowlers and bouncing Pakistan out. But
Yeah.
I think they'll have a better understanding as soon as they're a bit closer to the game.
Yeah, okay, that's good to hear because that's at least more than what the test team had before the test. So, Umpo, your thoughts on this particular T20 series? What do you think is going to unfold over here? What would you like to see as a fan going into the series? What players would you like to see play and get an opportunity?
Look, ideally, I think these players are not necessarily gonna. I remember we did the T20 show during lockdown last year, and we kind of figured out that I think Mark's got 13 out of the 15 spots all sorted. It's like the final two that are questionable, and so it's a question of obviously guys putting up their hands and knocking down the door. I think if someone scores 100 in this series, or scores runs in the series, or takes wickets or something, they could put their hands up. But most importantly, it's also about looking to the future. It's about the selectors being able to see in these small moments in T20, because T20 situational cricket. So you're trying to figure out what attributes does someone have that you can use going forward. And I think for me, a guy like Linton Steedman, a guy like Oguhle Tlele, a guy like Nandre Berger can give, even though it is 4 overs, can give insight as to what they offer. So when the selectors are looking at the assets they have from a batting and bowling perspective in limited overs and possibly in red ball cricket, they can go back to moments like these to say, hey, this is what it is. And I also want these guys to understand what it is to be in a Proteas setup. Yes, there's not a lot of senior players, but it's also really lovely to be playing international cricket and winning for your country. And I think that's the other thing that I want. It's that culture. Let them understand the culture of what it means to play in a Proteas jersey, and then we grow from there. Yes, we're looking to the World Cup, so those are the things that are front of mind. But we got to give guys opportunities. I think for me, the guys I want to see Ryan Rickleton. I really do think he's some guy I want to see. Not as much. I know guys is talking about Jacques Snyman. I actually want to see Ryan Rickleton. I think Ryan has been there, and he's shown in the MSL that he has something. He's got some sort of a talent that you can build around and work around, and he's an all format player as well. So I like that of him as well. Also, yeah, Jacques Snyman I want to see. I just don't know where they're going to fit him in. I feel as though they might go with the Reza at 3. And if Reza bats at 3, I don't think Jacques Snyman might fit in the team unless if he bats lower down the order. The other thing about this is that which all-rounders also get to play. So we've got Andile Phehlukwayo, you've got George Linder, you've got Dwayne Pretorius. Obviously, George is a spinning all-rounder, but it's still important as to what you kind of get from those guys. So I don't know. I think Andila's going to get a game because he didn't play against England. So he'll probably bat. But also, I'm actually quite excited because I was thinking about it. I'm like, if you play George Linder and you play Andile Phehlukwayo, and maybe if somehow you want to play Dwayne Pretorius, you've got a 7, 8, and 9 between the three of them, which makes you seem you bat quite deep. But I do think you might have to take one of the 3, so 2 all-rounders, and then give either, obviously, Luto Sipamla, Glenton Steedman, or Luto Junior Dala, or one of the combination of the 2, maybe even Andre Berger. So they're going to have to rotate the quicks. So I think they might play with 2 out-and-out quicks, 2 spinners, and 1 all-rounder, either being a fast bowler or might be George Linder. I don't think they'll go with 3 spinners. I think they shouldn't. I think they should just go with 2. But it's very exciting because you might even get different combinations every night, which is something from a bowling perspective, which is something quite interesting for everyone to see what the young guys are. And I think Pakistan's also a young team, so you're also going to get those guys as well, because obviously there's no Wahab Riaz, there's no what is it? Who's that guy? Shoaib Malik. There's no Muhammad Hafiz. So you kind of find yourself in a situation where they're also bringing up some guys. I like Usman Kadir as a player. I think he's great. And so you get that thing. But from a South African perspective, I think it's not the next best crop of guys, because I think I would have loved to see Calvin in the side if you want to talk next best, Vian Mulder as well here. But obviously, because of the way things worked out, they're not. But it's still a very good crop of the next gen Proteas. So if you want to look at next gen, this is what the next gen is going to look like.
I think also with Jacques Snyman, might be a little controversial in saying this, but I think that in T20 cricket, he can be a very good number 6 because of the way he bats. He bats very aggressively, very quickly, and he has a big shot on him. He gets his eye in very quickly. So to come out at the latter stage of an innings and smash around, I think he can have fun in that particular role in T20 cricket. Even though he's an opening batsman in 4-day cricket, and even though he opens the batting in 1-day cricket, where he can have a little bit more time and dominate, I think in T20 cricket he could play as an anchor. That anchor that's missing in South Africa's side, I think Pait van Biljon, him, and maybe if I think of someone else, maybe that's putting up the hand for the number 6 position really.
John.
He's not in the squad with Malcolm Murray, not in the squad.
Yeah.
But those
But
type of players.
My thing. But here's my question. Isn't Jacques Snyman the type of player that you want him to face as many balls as possible? So when I was looking at that number 3 spot, for me, it was between Riza and Jacques Snyman. And I wanted that axis of, so for instance, I think on tomorrow you'll get Riza batting at 3, but I'm assuming over the weekend, Jacques Snyman might bat at 3 because Jacques the type of player, based on the way he's played throughout his career, that I would want him to face as many balls as possible. Because if he manages to face 40 balls, that's possibly 70 runs.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And I get that, and I don't want this thing of pushing young players down to bat, coming in at number 6, kind of shielding them. It kind of works for some, but I feel as though a guy like a Jacques Snyman, because number 3 in the Proteas team is a very wide open slot depending on whether AB's playing or not. Because if AB isn't going to the World Cup, number 3 is wide open because Faf will bat at 4. And so, but I'm happy that David Miller's batting at 4 because I want David Miller to bat at 4 and push Faf up to 3. But I think that's what I'm thinking. So for instance, for me, I don't mind, for instance, if you went Janneman Malan opening tomorrow with Riza Hendricks and Jacques Snyman batting at 3. I would be okay with that. And then you'll have Miller at 4, Klaassen at 5, a John at 6, or a Pait at 6. John and Pait fight for one position in my head. That's how I'm thinking about the top 6 for tomorrow. And so I'd be okay with that because you get the experience of the 3 men in that batting lineup who played before, and you get some newbies filling in as you go along. So I think that's where I'm going. But I know that Riza will play. The question is, will Riza open or will he play at 3 like he did against England?
Yeah, that is a question that needs to be answered. I think they'll go with Riza as an opening batsman. Even though I would like Ryan Rickleton to play. Also about the all-rounders and the bowlers and stuff, what I love about T20 cricket is that it's not all about extreme pace. That's not what it's all about. It's about variations, the slower ball. The slower medium bowlers, medium pace bowlers, slower bowlers are the ones that get more success actually in T20 cricket because of the nature of people trying to go after the ball and attack. So you can really kick someone like Dwayne Pretoria, someone like Lutusapamla, someone that maybe is not that doesn't have that extreme pace, can really benefit from this. You can see when Lungi bowls in T20 cricket, he strips himself right down to 128s, 123s, 124s. He has a lot of slow balls in his arsenal as a variation because people struggle against that and against spin because it's a lot slower as well. Because it rushes you to want to try and play a shot. It's a mental thing, man. I think because people are so used to get the ball coming onto the bat and generally speaking at a quicker pace that when they get a slow delivery, it's just like, oh, it's slower, I'm going to go after it. But it's that reprogramming in the game that could be a dangerous ball is what they need to get into their arsenal and into their mind. So we spoke a little bit about the team there, Paul. I think that you were all spot on about Snyman. I mean, I think Snyman's game is adaptable because he bats so quickly. He'll come in and he can do a lot of things. I'm thinking about will he do a bit? Maybe he could do a better job than Patron Bouillon at 6 or at Jan Smart at 6. I mean, I know it's but his best position. If you're going to play him in his best position, play him where you want to face some many balls as possible. And I totally get that understanding, and I totally get that point of view. Well, Aditya, if you had to pick a top 6 for South Africa based on the squad, you want me to put up in the squad again for you?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, cool. So, like, if you had to pick up a top 6, who would you play in these particular games? What would you try to do? Because South Africa have kind of sort of settled on a general 12, like Paul said, 12, 13 players. There's a certain group of players that they've kind of settled on. There's certain places in the top 6 that I feel like the number 6 position is maybe up for grabs, and the number 3 position is up for grabs. Unless Faf plays, then maybe number 4 is up for grabs. David Miller needs to step up in the series 100%, because it's time for him to step up and become that player that everybody wished he was. Miller time, there's no more time for Miller time. There's no more waiting for Miller time. It needs to happen now. And he needs to show that in this Pakistan series in these conditions as well, because you're going to get maybe similar conditions when they play in India, when they play in the World Cup. But Aditya, what is the most, if you were the coach, what will you be looking at of this particular squad? What will you be looking for in picking your 11 or picking your team?
See, I'm saying this, admitting that I haven't really seen Ryan Rippleton play, but I have seen Snyman. So I guess that's a little bit of a bias. So I'd have Milan and Snyman open, Hendricks at 3, Klaassen at 4, Miller at 5. And probably play both Pretorius and Adile Pekapayo. But again, I say this knowing that Lahore is a good wicket to battle, and it would be useful to have 2 all-rounders, particularly with Pekapayo's variations, the overall variations. I think they'd be extremely useful. With that said, I think from what I want to see from the Proteas this time is, assuming that they're chasing in any of the 3 games, I want to see how they react to a situation where they need to make 50 or 20 balls. That's what I want to see, because I think that somewhere they haven't been tested there. And if the new lot gets tested there, that sort of situation is going to give them a lot of confidence if they can get over the line. So personally, I think that's what I want to see. Because going into the World Cup with the sort of pressure on the national team there, it's going to be huge if they can have a couple of instances where they've really been tested and they've been put in tough situations and they've gotten over the line. That to me that's what I really want to see from the series.
Mm-hmm. So we've got Werner. Werner, thank you for the super chat. He wants me to basically put his team on the screen. Very smart there, Werner. Malan, Rickleton, Snyman, Muller, Klaassen, Pretorius, Peklikwayo, Linda, Fortuin, Sipamla, Steerman. Now, I think that's a solid team. If I look at that team, to me, it seems like a very solid team, especially that bowling lineup and batting lineup, because it bats right until, I would say 9 even, because Fortuin can bat a little bit. So it bats really deep. The bowling, I mean, you have Steerman and Sipamla who have played, okay, not Steerman yet, but Sipamla's played some T20 cricket already for the Proteas. His slower ball, he's working on his slower ball. I know that he's been working on his slower ball and his variations. If he can bring that into his game, in the T20 game, he's a different bowler altogether, because he can be very dangerous. I feel a proper asset. Steerman has been working on his Yorkers, which is always needed in T20 cricket. And a good Yorker is like gold dust in T20 cricket. You can see in the IPL, immediately when the IPL auction happens, teams are gunning for those Yorker bowlers, the Trempals of the world and the Malingas of the world and all of those guys that can execute that Yorkers. I mean, obviously that's why RCB went for Del Steyn as well, because they were hoping that he could do that for them too. So what do you think about this particular team, Paul?
I like it. I think you should send this to Victor via WhatsApp, just to be like, hey, dude, pass it on to Mark and Nicole. I like it, obviously, because if you think about it, I've always wanted your one of the bowling all-rounders to take that 6th bowling option. You always want to give your captain a 6th bowling option. I would have loved to have at least if you're gonna play Snyman, who can bowl some leggies. Last I checked, I speak under correction. He's a spin bowler. that could give you, because obviously I don't want, if I'm gonna have Pretorius, Petlugwa, and Linda, I want them to bowl 4 overs each. And so I don't know who from the 6, which 2 from the 6 are not gonna bowl their full over, the full allotment. So I would prefer having another batsman at 6 and pick between Petlugwa and Pretorius who's not going to play. I know Pretorius is a much better batsman out of the all-rounders that we have in the country. I think he's got a really awesome striker, especially on slower pitches, which gives you that pinch hitting option that the Paul Rocks had last year. So but I just want to give Andile some games because he hasn't played. He didn't play internationally, but I do think. But at the World Cup, it'll be between Pretorius and Petlugwa, but playing them is fine. I'd have a Shamsi in there instead of Lyndon Forte, left arm spinners. But so I'd give George has played the test matches, so I'd take him out, put Shamsi in, and in the next, probably in one of the 2 games, I'd bring Linda in just to see how he fares. He needs a run in the side, and because Shamsi didn't play any of the test matches, I'd want to give him that opportunity because he does that. I like that whole Pamela and Steedman thing. That's good. I think it's a combination. I think we all want. I think I want to see Steelman play. I don't want him to just go and thingy. We've seen enough of thingy, enough of Junior Dollar. I see Werner says here that Steelman balls off spin. So that's good. But essentially, I just don't. Yeah, I think if you give Heiner Klaassen enough bowlers, you've got that. And yeah, I think if I saw this tomorrow, I'd expect us to win actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think this team is hungry enough to want to be able to get the win because it's about the mental side of the game is so important. So we're with a mindset like that, to have a mindset of, look, I need to get a place in that World Cup team. I think that's what everybody's going to be playing for in this particular match. I don't think anybody in this particular squad that their places are 100% certain, other than Tabrei Shamsi and other than Tabrei Shamsi, I think every single person in the squad should be fighting for position.
As well.
Pechelquayo, yes, but I mean, between Pechelquayo and Dwayne Pretorius, dependable on how they're going to pick the team, they're still fighting for same position in the side, unless we're going to go as deep as this. So that's what I mean. Like when I say, like, for example, Quinton will definitely play in the World Cup. We know KG will definitely play, and Henrik Nokia will definitely play. Because I mean, they can't not pick Henrik the way that he played in the IPL. That makes no sense if they're not going to pick him.
The only thing I would say is that I think Andile should be considered, and from a South African fan perspective, should be considered. Yes, he's got a batting option, but Andile, if you look at the stats, Andile is our second best bowler in T20s based on averages, and the only person who beats him is Lungi Ngidi, fast bowler. You know, and I understand the fact that you need Kagiso and the fact that you need Anuf Nokia, but Andile as a bowler should be going to the World Cup. He hasn't played IPL, 100%. And that's the fault of the coaches and the people who do the IPL auctions. There's no fault of Andile's, because I think if Andile played in IPL, he'd run all the way to the top of that wickets chart, because he's the most skillful bowler we have in South Africa. I think for me that's the one thing, because from a batting perspective, Dwayne is number 1, and Andile you would say is number 3 if you consider Chris Morris. But from a bowling perspective, Andile wipes the floor of all of those guys, and also the quicks that we have.
I love Andile as a third bowling option. Like, I mean, like, for example, you have your strike bowlers, and then you have Andile. Even though he does take wickets in the middle overs with a spinner, perfect. That's when everything's going to happen. That's when everything's going to happen for me.
And if I was like Imran Khan chatting to these guys, if I was Enoch chatting to the young guys for tomorrow, the guys in the squad, is give us a headache. Give the selectors a headache when it comes to the World Cup. And also when Pakistan come back to South Africa, show us that you want to play. But that's obviously, they need to give them opportunities. I hope what they've done, and I hope we don't sit here on Sunday night going, but why didn't they play? So-and-so didn't get a game. I hope that they've got a plan and they've spoken to everybody that they're going to at least get one game each. and they've spoken, and everybody knows the 11 for tomorrow, the 11 for Saturday, and the 11 for Sunday, and it's spoken about tonight in the team talk, so everybody understands what's going to happen as it goes along. Because right now, yes, we want to win, but most importantly, with these guys in the squad, it's about giving them as much opportunity for them to put their hand up and stake a claim. If you take somebody on this tour and you don't play them, that's even more. That's more of an indictment on the coaching staff than the player itself. And I think that's something I'd like to see.
Mm-hmm. I think I know Werner said here Miller's spot is certain. For me personally, what I think is that Miller and Heinrich Klaassen are fighting for a position in that side. And I know people might say, what am I talking about? But I'm saying because if there is a position in the batting lineup between 4, 5, and 6, Boucher will turn to Heinrich because of his affinity to Heinrich. And the way Heinrich talks about how he'll run through walls for him, the way Heinrich puts in 100% every single time he walks to the middle when Boucher was coach, I think he prefers Heinrich Klaassen. I don't think
And
the public
also,
do, but I think he does.
but also the other thing is that they made
Also
Heinrich captain
Captain.
over a guy who's been in the setup for 12 years.
Yeah. Exactly my point.
That's an indictment for me on David Miller rather than I was sitting there going, but this guy's been here since 2009 and none of you guys ever thought, hey, just give it to him.
Yeah. Okay. So Aditya, I want you to talk a little bit about Pakistan. Who are the players that are dangerous? Who do South Africa have to look out for, particularly on this wicket, batters and bowlers?
Two players in particular, Babar Azam and Shaheen Shafrizi. Because Babar Azam is one of the top-ranked T20 batsmen. And I think Afridi is going to take the confidence that he's gotten from the Test performance into the T20 game. And I know that there obviously isn't going to be a lot of similarity in terms of wickets and obviously the white ball versus red ball, but he's going to take that confidence with him. And again, we'll have to see how the Lahore pitch behaves. But I think these two players are key. And if South Africa can get on top of these two players, they have a very good chance of winning.
I mean, Babar Azam so beautiful to watch play cricket, man. He just has this aura about him, sense like this vibe around him. I just love it. Shaheen Afridi, when I watched him in South Africa for the first time, he's one of those bowlers that just took my breath away. Like often you see a young fast bowler come through a system and they're very inconsistent, or that they maybe don't have that that X factor vibe that you just like, wow. The moment he ran up to that wicket, when he was walking next to me, when we were walking to the nets, and Pakistan just were about to go into the nets after South Africa's session, I had to go jump up to go pet my tripod, etc. As I'm walking back, Shaheen Afridi was standing there, and he asked me a question, and he wanted to know whether me to point him to the nets, and then I said, come with me. So we were walking together. He couldn't really speak much English at the time. I don't even know if he remembers this. He probably won't. But we were walking together, and I tried to have a chat with him, and he was just like, yes, no. But he just had this vibe, and when he walks on the pitch and he walks on the field, you just know this guy means business, man. If you didn't know him and you had to put on pads and someone had to dare you to face a couple of balls in the nets for your bachelor's party, and they have to bring Shaheen Afridi walking out there in the middle, you will be scared, even if you have never seen him bowl. It's just he has this aura about him, the way he walks and the way this is just this confidence that he has. And any fast bowler that has that can scare the living daylights out of you. And I think that Shaheen is a brilliant bloody bowler and brilliant attitude.
But it's also a pity that it's a pity that Mohammad Hafiz isn't playing this series. I really would have, after what he's done in New Zealand and after all the runs he scored for Pakistan over the last 2 years in T20 cricket. Even though I think he's close to 38, 39, but he's super fit and he's been so consistent with the bat. It's really a pity that he couldn't sort of sort out the bio-bubble logistical issues with the Pakistan Cricket Board, because I really would have loved to see him play the series.
Aditya, there was a fast bowler they were talking about or flirting with of maybe starting in the Test series in Rawalpindi, a quick bowler.
Naseem Shah.
No, I don't know what his
No, Nassim wasn't in the squad.
Haida, I think his name is Haida or something.
Haida Ali.
Haider Ali. Okay.
Yeah.
Haider Ali. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, how good is he and how quick is he? Because they were talking about some mean pace on this guy.
No.
Yeah, he's pretty quick. See, to be honest, I haven't seen a whole lot of him. But you know what? I think the challenge with Pakistan cricket is that there's generally such a quick turnover of bowlers that
No, but Haida Ali is not the person we're talking about. It's the wrong
No,
person.
it's not.
It's I don't know what his name. Ralph. Is it Ralph? The guys saying
Harris Ralph.
Haris Ralph.
There we
Oh
go.
yes, Harris Ralph. Yes, yeah.
Guy I'm talking about.
He plays for the Melbourne Stars in the BVL as well. I think that's where he really got noticed by the Pakistani selectors also. And
Yeah.
he's quick. He's very quick.
He was the highest wicket taker in that series they played against New Zealand the last time out. So, look, I think he's probably going to start, and he's someone that the South Africans need to watch out for. For me, as you always mentioned, Khalid, it's going to be the spinners, the Pakistan spinners against Yanaman Malan at the top. I would assume that they're going to open the bowling with them to see what Yanaman can do. But also, don't forget Mohammad Rizwan. He was the second highest run scorer after what's his name, Hafiz, last time out against New Zealand. So watch out for him. And look, quite frankly, there's obviously the guys we don't know. Zafar Gohar. I think he played in that New Zealand tour, and so too is Usman Kadir as well. He's played 3 T20s, he has taken only 8 wickets. He's a leg break bowler, so I think for me, that's the type of stuff that South Africans need to look out for. But depending on what you get tomorrow in Lahore, obviously that's what's going to be. But I do think Pakistan will go in with their two spinners and Fahim Ashraf. Like, do not write off that number 6 batsman for Pakistan, and that he in the test match he felt dibbly dobbler, but he's not. He's actually 120, 130 Ks, so he's going to probably come through for them as well.
Yeah. Sorry guys for botching it, because I'm not very knowledgeable about the entire Pakistan side. It's obviously over the years it's changed so much, so it's tough. And new guys that I haven't seen play before, because I didn't watch your series against New Zealand, for example. But I heard about the fast ball. I just didn't know who it was, and I know I lent on Aditya, which was unfair of me to do so. So I threw you into the fire, Aditya. There. Sorry about that. But there's someone that said that he bowls 150 plus. He recently bowled 155 kilometers per hour in the BBL.
He's quick.
That is proper, and I want to see this. I want to see this guy bowl. That's obviously I like express pace, and I would like to see that. South Africa don't really have that express pace in this particular team, in this particular squad. I think the guy that's the fastest for them is Glenton, and Glenton only hits about 140 if he's lucky. So 145 if he's pushing.
Junior Dollar faster.
Junior Dala's faster, yes, but I'm very concerned about Junior Dala. I have to be honest. I don't know, man. He's not as consistent, and I'd like him to be at this particular age. I would expect a lot more consistency from Junior Dala than he gets. This is sometimes that he bowls his full tosses or wider deliveries that he shouldn't be bowling at this particular as a senior in the side. Maybe that's also because around about the time when he was playing more for South Africa, he was a little bit on the injury side of things. He was recovering a lot, coming back in quick succession. So I know he's improved a lot in domestic cricket. He improved since he came back from injury. He improved a lot. So I'd like to see that as well. But I'm talking 155 pace. This is Gerald Coetzee and Andrik Nokia territory. I want to see that's Jafar Archer territory. So I really want to see this guy bowl at his Ralph. I'm excited about that. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Thank you a lot, Aditya, for everything that you've done for the day. Thanks a lot to Paul for coming on the show. And I know that you had load shedding and you rushed to be there. I appreciate the dedication. Thanks a lot, my man. Don't forget to obviously download the latest issue of the magazine. The new one is in the middle over there. It's all about the rise of women's cricket. You can see some of the other magazines there on the screen as well for you to download. It's all free. You don't have, there's no back buys or anything. It's all free. So just go ahead and subscribe to the magazine. I'm going to put the link now on the screen for you so that you can see what it is. And there it is, and it's in the description as well. Obviously, smash that like button. I saw a lot of you guys have been watching and tuning in and tuning out. Smash that like button. Let's get over 30 likes on this particular video. If you can do so, get your friends and family to share this. I mean, you can't be sitting with 300, 500 like views and only have 10 likes. So let's smash that like button whenever you have the chance. Don't forget to get to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all updates as well. And become a patron, guys. We have a patron. It's open at the moment. You get special benefits from becoming a patron. When the patron numbers are up at the high level, that's when you will start getting exclusive content. So get all your friends and family that are interested in cricket to become a patron and support us and join the community, because then we can start doing some special things for you guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Also, go check out Shukri Conrad interview that we did earlier today, and my interview that I did my conversation I had last night with Altus Mbombo, who gave us some excellent insights into the past and compared to the future and compared to the present when it comes to South African cricket. Some excellent insights over there that you guys can go watch as well. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you again tomorrow with another daily video. Take care, everyone.